Good Friday morning, everyone. I can't believe another week has come and gone, but that's how time seems to be flying during the pandemic. I hope you're enjoying these readings from Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. And today we're going to finish talking about the cards themselves. We're going to finish up with the uh, 10 of discs, and which is truly the last tarot card. Uh, but because it's the last, it's also the first in a very Zen-like way. And actually, it has so much significance that I hardly know where to start. I try the best I can in the book, Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. But try as I might, I'm left to clutch at the straws of, of other classical occult literature to even begin to explain the wonderful mysteries that are at least implied in the Princess of Discs and in the Ten of Discs. And as I said in sort of a tease yesterday about what we're going to discuss, is sort of like opening up the can of worms of answering the question, who made God? And when you tell your kid, when your kid asks you, who, how did the universe was created, and the knee-jerk, old-fashioned answer was, well, God created the universe. And so, well, who created God? What came before the Big Bang, and things like that. So I'm going to start with just sort of setting the groundwork. It's not going to be a long reading today, so don't worry. I'm going to start with the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. And this is my favorite sort of translation of it from Manly Hall's Lost Keys of Freemasonry. I got this book well over 50 years ago. Briefly, well, the big title of it is Hiram Talat Mishlat, means Hiram, the universal agent, one in essence, but three in aspect. And basically, it's translated like this. It is true and no lie. It is certain and to be depended upon that the superior agrees with the inferior, and the inferior with the superior to effect that one truly wonderful work. As all things owe their existence to the will of the only one, so all things owe their origin to the one only thing, the most hidden, by the arrangement of the only God. I'm going to point out they sound like the same thing, but they're three different things, or three different angles of the same thing. We've got all things owe their existence to the will of the only one, the will of the only one, and that's most hidden. By arrangement of the only God, the father of that one only thing is the sun. Its mother is the moon. The wind carries it in its wings, but its nurse is a spiritus earth. That one only thing after God is the Father of all things in the universe. Its power is perfect after it has been united to a spiritus earth. Separate that spiritus earth from the dense or crude earth by means of a gentle heat with much attention. In great measure it ascends from the earth up to heaven and descends again newborn on the earth. And the superior and the inferior are increased in power. Okay. This spiritus earth. Its power is perfect after it has been united with the spiritus earth. Okay. Chew on that for a minute. I'm going to start our reading from my book anyway, with a quote from Crowley that concerning, believe it or not, what we had to say about the universe card. Now remember that the universe card, the very last trump card in our story, is a big zero. It's a zero into which an entirely manifested universe goes back into when it has fulfilled its entire potentiality. The fool at the other end of the scale, okay, let's just put it this way. The fool at the other end of the scale is the zero out of which all potentiality leaps at the beginning of the cycle. So these are two zeros. O, O. And the entire creational cycle is all the cards in between these two zeros. The zero out of which everything jumps, and the zero into which everything jumps. And talking about the universe card, Crowley said, in the card itself, there is consequently a glyph of the completion of the great work in its highest sense. Exactly as the Atu of the Fool symbolizes its beginning. The Fool is the negative issuing into manifestation. The universe is that manifestation, its purpose accomplished, ready to return. The 20 cards that lie between these two exhibit the great work and its agents in various stages. The image of the universe in this sense is accordingly that of a maiden, the final letter of the Tetragrammaton, the final He of the Yod He Vav He. And those are associated with the princesses as the court cards. And in the small cards, that is the tens. And the 10 of discs is the lowest world. There is no more lowerness than the 10 of discs. The only place the 10 of discs has to go is to start all over again. Start at the top. So, okay, where were we? Let's talk about that finally. Excuse me for that digression. The 10 of discs. Wealth. Mercury in Virgo. Let me digress a little more before. I don't mean to tease you with this. Yesterday I posted something that I thought will help you in your meditations toward today's reading. And this is something I gleaned from Crowley's in the Book of Thoth. Mercury, the sun, and the earth. Okay, Mercury, sun, and the earth. Not only just the planet Mercury and the planet, our sun, and the earth, the ground, the earth, but the concepts, the sphere of Mercury, the alchemical Mercury, the sun, the alchemical sun, and earth, that spiritus earth, the lowest of the low. Mercury, the sun, and the earth are three cosmic players that are responsible for what Crowley calls the mode of operation of the great work. Those three guys, okay? Mercury, the sun, and earth. Those are the magic trio. Those are the three amigos of alchemy. Those are the three amigos of existence itself, of being itself, of creation itself. I also included another quote from Crowley when he was talking about the princesses and the magic of that Hey final in Yod Hey Vav Hey. He said the climax of the descent of matter is the signal for the redintegration by spirit. Now, redintegration is an archaic old word that means return to a former estate. Redintegration, not reintegration. I misread it for years. The climax of the descent of matter, in other words, the rock bottom of the rock bottomness, is the signal for the redintegration by spirit. We see it at work in astronomy, when the mass of a star is such that its own gravity takes it all the way down to iron. And when it hits that climax of the descent of matter, it bumps. It gives it a cosmic bump. And that bump causes a supernova, which explodes the star and all of its potentiality back into a hydrogen cloud and forms new stars. That climax of the descent of matter, that bump that triggers a supernova, is the Ten of Discs, is the Princess of Discs. And the mode of operation, the clockwork, the gears, the machinery that drives that bump is Mercury, the sun, and earth. Okay, the Ten of Discs, Mercury in Virgo, 20 degrees Virgo to 30 degrees Virgo. That's roughly September 12th to September 22nd. The title is Lord of Wealth. The Golden Dawn model was from clouds at the bottom of the card. A hand appears, holding the branch of a rose tree whose roses touch all the discs. No buds, however, are shown. The discs are arranged thus. And there's like that. That's the Golden Dawn model. Obviously, Crowley has done, or has had Harris do something else. It's a big tree of life made of coins. And all the coins are about the same size, but look at that bloated, oh my God, that number 10 is really, really bloated. The Princess Scale for Malkuth, black rayed yellow. The 4 scales for Mercury, yellow, purple, gray, indigo, rayed violet. 4 scales for Virgo, green, yellowish, slate gray, green gray, plum colored. The formula is number 10, Malkuth of discs, Asaya, plus Mercury in Virgo equals wealth. The 10 of discs represents the climax of the descent of matter and is the signal for the redintegration by spirit. Crowley calls this card a hieroglyph of the cycle of regeneration. Unquote. It is, after all, the last tarot card. It represents the lowest sphere, Malkuth, Earth, of the lowest Kabbalistic world, Asaya, the material plane. The 10s of the other suits have somewhere to go. They simply cooperate with gravity and degenerate into the next lower suit. For the 10 of discs, there is no place to descend, no place to grow, no place to go. The 10 of discs is forced to do something that no other small card is called upon to do. From its position at the bottom of the cosmos, it has to somehow form a link with the secret of creation, then actually reincarnate fresh and new at the very top of the tarot cycle. In other words, it must regenerate the world. That's some trick. And it's going to take the biggest trickster in the universe to help pull it off. But let's first take a look at the card. One more time. Harris's interpretation is almost comically poignant. A tree of life made entirely of massive and heavy coins. Its Malkuth bulging at the bottom as if the forces and energies of all the tarot cards, all the Sephiroth and paths, all the Kabbalistic worlds have settled into it like the tired sediment of the entire universe. For lack of a more genteel allusion, this card is a portrait of cosmic constipation. A magical laxative will be needed to be administered to prevent this stagnant wealth of energy, experience, and matter from putrefying and poisoning the body. Is there a doctor in the house? Yes. The best doctor in the universe. The God of physicians and magicians. The God who tradition informs us invented the tarot. Thoth. Hermes. Mercury. This is perfect. For a job like this, his credentials are amazing. First of all, as Mercury, the magus, he knows his way around the supernal triad. Remember that the path of Mercury is above the abyss and joins Kether to Binah. As Hermes, he descended to the lowest region of the land of the dead and returned to Olympus with Persephone to regenerate the cycle of seasons. If he could do that, jump-starting the 10 of discs is going to be a piece of cake. His greatest credential is that he is Thoth, the inventor and sustainer of the entire tarot universe. As if to attract Mercury's attention, so that he may perform this most necessary magic, Harris has painted this card as a veritable invocation of Mercury. All the Sephiroth, except one, bear an image or symbol sacred to Mercury. All of them, save one. She's even got the Enochian paw, which is equivalent to Bet, and Bet, of course, is Mercury. Archangel Raphael, 8-pointed star, Tetatrix, Caduceus as the mother letters, all of them, except the sphere of Mercury itself, number 8. It doesn't have a mercurial symbol. It doesn't have an 8-sided anything. Look what it's got. Should be the hometown of Mercury, but it isn't. It's got a symbol of the sun. The hexagram. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Kether, we find the most common symbol for the planet Mercury. Hokmah, the symbol of Mercury, is the magus. Note the right-angled positions of the arms are identical with the gesture made by the magus in Atu 2. There it is. See the magician with one arm up and the other hand pointing down? That's Mercury. Binah, the symbol of the alchemical Mercury. Hesed, the letter Pe, the Enochian equivalent to the letter B. Harris associated this with the Hebrew letter Bet, which is assigned to Mercury. Enochian magicians have other ideas about that. Geburah, the Hebrew letter Bet. Tiferet, the name Raphael, written in Hebrew, the ruling angel of Mercury. Netzach, the 8-pointed star of Mercury. Hod, the hexagram within the hexagon, symbol of the sun. But Yesod, a Pythagorean Tetatrix. Malkuth, the mercurial caduceus made from the 3 mother letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Why do all the Sephiroth contain an image of Mercury except Hod, the sphere of Mercury itself? That's a very good question. Crowley mentions it as being the key to this remarkable regenerative process. He says, these discs are inscribed with various symbols of mercurial character except the coin in the place of Hod Mercury on the tree is marked with the cipher of the sun. This indicates the only possibility of issue from the impasse produced by the exhaustion of all the elemental forces. This indicates the only possibility of issue from this constipation. This indicates the only possibility of issue from the impasse produced by the exhaustion of all the elemental forces, coming down from wands and cups and swords and discs and down through the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of disk. It's all settling like sediment at the bottom of the ocean. I take this to mean that at this stage of the game, Mercury needs inspiration and direction. Crowley said it most succinctly, quote, "When wealth accumulates beyond a certain point, it must either become completely inert and cease to be wealth, or call in the aid of intelligence to use it rightly." In this way, Carnegie establishes a library. Rockefeller endows research simply because there is nothing else to do. Unquote. Let's see here. There's Mr. Mercury. There's Thoth himself as the Hermit card. Now, Virgo is Earth. Mutable Earth. Mercury rules, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So here we have two of our cosmic players of the mode of the fulfillment of the great work. All we're missing is the sun. And that's what Thoth Mercury carries in his lamp. And with that authority and power, he then fertilizes the Orphic egg of creation, which will hatch into a new cycle. By plugging in the sun in the sphere of Mercury that we've done, there's the sphere of Mercury and there's the sun. By plugging in the sun in this invocation of Mercury, by plugging in the sun in the sphere of Mercury in a tree of life otherwise loaded with Mercury, Harris is calling in the aid of intelligence to give this card the spiritual integrity necessary to regenerate the world and become the ultimate cosmic philanthropist. See Chapter 20 for the general divinatory meaning of this card. And I end this section of the book with a very short quote from Harris in a letter to Crowley, talking about the cards. She says, "How I should like to do them all again." Okay. I thought this was going to be a short one, but it turned out to be a long one today. Tomorrow we'll sort of thumb through the back section of the book a little. I don't know how much I think we want to be bored with glossary and things like that, but we'll take a look at it before I put on my thinking cap and think of another book for us to read in the mornings. So I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope if I do choose another book that you'll be with me every morning. I need this. Humor me. Okay, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Have a great and very safe weekend. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.